Obviously on behalf of iMoot, welcome Nicole to this session. Sadly, I'm not at all prepared to introduce you because I was introduced in the other session originally and jumped in here to help out. So I'm incredibly unprofessional and going to say, this is Nicole. Nicole is from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and that's all I know because it's what's on her slide. So I'll pass over and introduce yourself, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And like you said, I am Nicole Harris. I'm a web application developer at the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. And I thought that I would start out the presentation. What I'm going to be talking about is some of the custom modules that we have done in Moodle since we've begun to use the product. To start out, I just wanted to give a little bit of background about our university and where we're at with Moodle. I'm sure the challenges that are on this slide are probably the same challenges that you are experiencing in the universities that you represent. We have more than 25,000 students. I would consider that to be a mid-sized school. The enrollments are growing by leaps and bounds. Every year we have a larger group of freshmen coming in, and as a result, space has become an issue. Buildings are being built all over campus, but funding does have a strong influence on growth as far as physical resources go. So class sizes have become larger to accommodate the enrollment size and the limited space that we have. So those are some of the challenges that we are dealing with as a campus. As far as our Moodle usage goes, we started using Moodle back in 2010. And since we adopted Moodle as our enterprise LMS, the usage of the LMS in general has grown by leaps and bounds exponentially. At this point, practically every student on campus has at least one course that uses Moodle to some capacity. With our prior LMS, our adoption rate was very small, so Moodle really just it took off on our campus. And currently, we are in the process of transitioning from 1.9 to 2.3. We're doing our first, you might call it a pilot session this summer with 2.3, and then with our fall semester beginning in August, we're going to be fully using our 2.3 instance of Moodle. Now, with the challenges that I mentioned prior on the prior slide, our main goal as application developers has really been to try to save faculty members time. And the ways that we've been able to do that is to reduce the need to use other sites and then pare down options within the site so that it's quicker and easier to do the things that instructors need to do. So I'll just talk about two of the customizations that we have done over the past couple of years. One being our Centric Connector. Centra is the web conferencing software that we use on campus. And then also our Moodle to Banner grade submission. Banner is our student information system. That's our system of record. So I'll talk about ways that we have created plugins to connect to both Centra and to Banner through Moodle. So first of all, with Centra, prior to using Centra, we had used Wimba. Wimba was bought by Blackboard, and so we had to search for another product. Centra became a front runner because prior to using Wimba, we had used Centra. So faculty members on our campus were very familiar with the interface. They liked the options that it offered. And so that became easily the first choice of the faculty, even though we evaluated a number of different options. The issue that we had with Centra, though, is that it did not have a Moodle plugin. When we used Centra before, everything that we did was manual. We had a person who created all of the sessions within Centra and assigned the faculty to those sessions and the students and monitored those sessions to make sure that they were going smoothly. That was not going to be a sustainable option for us going forward. We needed to be able to automate that through Moodle. And so that's what we did using Centra's web services. They have web services through ASP.NET, so we were able to leverage those and create an activity module within Moodle so that instructors never had to go to the Centra website in order to use in order to use Centra. They could do everything that they needed to do within Moodle. And I wanted to go ahead and just demonstrate how that works. You'll see, since we're using Big Blue Button, it operates very similar to the Moodle plugin for Big Blue Button. If you can bring your attention to my desktop, which hopefully you can still see, within the desktop, if you turn editing on, which I've already done, you add an activity, just like any other activity. In this case, we're adding a Centra event. And as I mentioned before, we pared down the options. When you create a Centra event, there are a lot of different options that you can choose from in order to create that event. We made most of those defaults so that the faculty member did not have to worry about all of those options, and instead just chose to only present them with the most important things, such as the name of the event, so that they could make those choices and everything else would be default. So I'm going to save and return to course. So the event itself is now created within Centra. The person is not assigned to the event until they actually click on it. So once they click on the event link, Moodle then connects with Centra, checks to see what level of access they have, and then places them into the event. So this is the Centra event that has been launched from Moodle. As you can see, because I was an instructor in the Moodle course that I was displaying, I have all of the presenter options within Centra. Had I been a student in the course, once the event was launched, I would only see the participant options for the event. And I will close out of that and go back to the Moodle course. So that's the Centra plugin that we created for instructors to use, and they found it to be fairly helpful. You know, they not only teach distance ed courses from our Centra events, but also hold office hours. They allow students to create group events so that they can join together synchronously, but not have to be in the same room to work on group projects and things of that nature. So faculty members have found that to be quite useful in their courses. So I will move on to the next module that we created. which is the our Moodle to Banner grade submission. And just to talk about the current process that faculty have to go through, or prior to us creating this module, we had our student information system has its own interface or website. And what the faculty would have to do is log into that website. They would be taken to their course information within that site, and they would have to literally choose the grade for each of the students in that course and then submit the grades from that site. Well, obviously, if they're using Moodle and they have a gradebook in Moodle, the grades are already there. So what we decided to do was cut out a few steps for the faculty member and create a plugin that connects directly from our instance of Moodle to our student information system using a JMS protocol. That's what Luminous and Banner uses to talk to other systems, basically. So that this grade module, and I'll just display it on on the app share. And when you go to the gradebook and you choose export, now they have an option to export to Banner. As you can see, all of the students are listed on this page. Their course totals are listed on the page, and those course totals are translated into a letter grade. Now all the faculty members need to do is just click checks down the line of the courses of the grades that they want to submit, come down to the bottom and submit grades. Now, because none of these students actually exist in our student information system, I would get an error message saying the student doesn't exist. But you can see that this process is much quicker than having to go to a different website, actually hand enter the grades, and then submit them. And we were very shocked when we first set this module up at the response that we received from the faculty. This was the first time that we had created or customized Moodle in a way that faculty were sending us emails of thanks and praise and excitement over being able to submit their grades from Moodle and not have to go to a separate site. So it was very exciting for them. It's been very successful for us. So those are two of the customizations that we've done within Moodle to save the faculty members time. Because as you can imagine, when you have 150, 200 students in a course, anything that saves time in managing that number of students is a welcome thing. Just to briefly mention some of the other customizations that we have done, we created a team assignment module. So in Moodle 1.9, students, obviously there is the grouping option. However, we didn't really have a way for students to be able to work as teams and for their work to be graded as a team within Moodle 1.9. And so we took a third-party team assignment module, modified it for our needs, and made that available to faculty, and they have greatly appreciated that module as well. Of course, now in Moodle 2.4, that is part of Moodle Core, and so as we transition to Moodle 2, then we'll be adopting the version that is within within Moodle 2.4. And we were surprised when we saw the 2.4 version how closely it actually meshed with the version that we created. So thankfully, it solves a lot of the needs that we had that caused us to create our own module for 1.9. Additionally, we have created a library resources block. One of our other goals has been to closely integrate with other departments on campus, and the library was definitely an easy target. It's something that it's a resource that the students have to take advantage of, oftentimes don't take advantage of as much as they could or should. Well, the library, they actually bought a tool that it's called Spring Share, and it allows the library to create customized lists of books and other resources for specific courses. And that tool also had web services available that we were able to leverage to create a block so that an instructor can add the block to their course and there's some static links that go along with this block, but then this research guides link is a link to that Spring Share resources, and it takes them to a course-specific page of resources that can help them for the subject that they're dealing with. And I'll just mention one last customization that we've done, particularly for Moodle 2. Our faculty often have needs for courses that are not that do not come from our student information system. So not only do they have the courses that they teach from, but they also need to use a development course so that they can, test out different features of Moodle. They can create the layout of their actual course or decide on what content and where that content should be within their course before they put it into production. Additionally, we have what we call combined courses. Moodle calls them meta courses that allow instructors to combine their course sections in a way that makes sense for them. And so we developed a course request module that is yet another block. The instructor clicks on the block and types in the name of a course that they would like, and it creates that course on the fly. So Moodle has a course request option within it, but it's very it requires intervention from a Moodle admin. An instructor creates a course request. The admin receives the request and approves it, and then the course is created. We kind of wanted to cut out the middleman in that process, and so we created this course request so that when the instructor submits the form, the course is created automatically. And that is in Moodle 2, which I can demonstrate that as well. So if you can see here, there's a link within our quick links box to create a course. I'm going to choose a development course and name it iMoot training. and save and display course. And as you can see, the course has been created, and now I'm ready to work within that course. So it saves the faculty member time with, they don't have to request the course and then wait for it to be created. It's created on the fly, and they can begin working in it immediately. So those are just some of the modifications that we've made to Moodle over time to save instructors as much time as they can. And so with that, I will just open it up to questions. Let's see. I see the question from Tim Hunt is, did you consider making an admin tool plugin rather than a module? Which tool are you referring to?
Well, it's just that in Moodle 2 there are different types of plugin, and for this plugin, it seems to me it sounds more. I mean, it's just a type of plugin that fits into the admin settings. So I was just wondering if you'd considered it. I mean, obviously what you've built works very nicely for your users.
Are you referring to the course request module?
Oh, yes, the course request, yeah.
Okay. We actually do have some admin pages for the course request. Basically, I'll show them to you. They're actually for us as admins to create the different types of courses that instructors can request. So right now we have 3 different types of courses that instructors can request: a combined course, project site, and a development course. If we wanted to add additional types of courses, say like a student organization, then we could use this form to add that, and that basically updates the database and to create another option that instructors and students would have in this form. I guess we didn't make it an admin tool because we wanted it to be available to everyone, so anybody can create a course. They can request a course and create it. We didn't want it to be restricted to just to admins. Does that answer your question? Okay. Let's see. Another question that was asked is, who approves the course request? That we actually cut out the approval process for course requests. We allow anybody to create them, and they're created on the fly. So there is no approval process. Now that does present an issue as time goes on, as far as trying to archive courses and decide which ones should be kept and which ones can be discarded. And that's a challenge that we are facing right now as we transition to Moodle 2.3, because obviously all the courses that people have created in 1.9 are not necessary for our 2.3 version. And so we're working through those issues. What we've decided to do is just let instructors back up any courses that they want from 1.9 and restore them to 2.3. So if they don't bring them over, we take that as them not needing those courses. Does that answer your question, Michelle?
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem.
I have another question.
Sure.
And I'm just curious about the team assignment module interface.
Uh-huh.
I wish to know how does it differ from an assignment set to a group. Does it have a typical interface like that, or how does team assignment works really? You can show a sample of them. That would be great. Thank you.
I can show well, it's a little complicated because you have to set up a group. Let's see. Well, perhaps I could get your contact information and we could discuss it offline. The way that it works is you create groups in your course. The team assignment module actually recognizes those groups. And so within the grade book, each of those group members are recognized as a team. And within the assignment, each of those group members are recognized as a team. So the instructor only submits one grade and it's applied to each of the members of the group. But to try to demonstrate it during the course of this would probably take longer than I have time to do. But I could definitely show it to you offline if that would be okay. Let's see. And we have another question. If an instructor is given the tool to create the course, what about deleting the course? We have not made the option to delete a course available simply because we haven't found a way to do that without giving the instructor access to all courses. If anybody knows how to do that, please let us know. But from what we've found with the permissions, the only way to delete a course is through the option to see all courses. And yes, as Tim Hunt has brought out, when you delete a course, there's no way to bring that back other than through a backup. So. And okay, that's an interesting idea from Trish Penny, that to create a role that only enables the creation of courses and give that to certain staff members. Unfortunately, our staff pool is pretty small, so, and the number of courses that are created is very large. So it could be a full-time job for somebody just to approve courses. Let's see. Policies or restrictions on the course creation. Actually, there are some policies and restrictions on not the creation of courses, but what you can do within those courses. So within a development course, all an instructor can do is basically create their content for the course, and they can add other managers to the course. They can't add any students, and we restrict that through the permissions of the course. And we do that so that faculty are not tempted to use a development course for teaching purposes. And with the combined course, when they combine a course in Moodle 2, they're only given a role that allows them to add their other courses and their individual course sections to that combined course. So we do have policies and restrictions for these other courses, and we enforce those through the permissions that we allow the roles in those courses to have. Let's see. I want to make sure that I'm not missing any questions. Yes. Okay, Michelle says you must have a high capacity server. We actually do. We are hosted through Remote Learner, and they have changed their hosting setup. So they've moved to high availability, to a high availability setup, which is basically a huge storage area network with virtual machines rather than physical servers. So we're able to kind of scale our server capacity to the amount of usage that we have. It's been it's worked pretty well over the past semester or two that they have moved to this different infrastructure. So you know, supporting the amount of students that we have with the amount of usage that we have, we do have to have a lot of server capacity. Let's see now. Trish, I'm going to have you explain your statement that we just give faculty members as a standard. Are you referring to the courses?
I just mean the role, the standard teacher role, because I'm assuming you don't allow students credit. So wanted to.
We actually do allow students to create those courses. There's not that much they can do within the courses. Now, with a project site, and the reason why we do allow students to create the courses is basically for the project site and the development course. We have some disciplines, particularly in our College of Education, where students have to create their own Moodle course site. Say if they're, if they're learning to be instructors, they have to, learn how to set up an online course. Well, by them being able to request and create a development course, they have their own space to create the course site that they can then give their instructor access to review and grade. I'm sorry?
I was just going to say, depending on the roles in which we're able to have it. All we did, because we only had quite a lot of.
I wasn't able to hear your entire statement. I'm sorry. It's going in and out.
Sorry. We only have a small team. You can't hear me. Can you hear me at all?
No. Yes, your audio is kind of going in and out.
Because we only have a small staff, our solution was to just enable it at the level in which we wanted it. So because every role, you can give whichever role you want access to create a course. You just enable it down to whatever level you want. We have, like you, restricted anyone deleting courses, so they're able to create the course, but they're not allowed to delete anything. And it's just that was just our solution. And so I was assuming you weren't giving it to students, and so for the general faculty, anyone who becomes a teacher, you'd just give them access to create a course.
Oh, interesting. I see what you're saying. So they actually have access to the button where they create a course and then they put in their own course information.
Yeah, and the benefit for us in that, as it also enables our course creators to be able to jump in and choose what style they want, whether they want a weekly or whether they want a topic or how many, and all of those options are provided to them.
I see. Okay, that's an interesting option, and that could certainly be done. Now, I'm assuming you just have one role for the types of courses that they create?
Because we're with the Department of Health in the Northern Territory, so we're very standardised across sort of what we need, and there's only certain people that we say, yep, you guys can create courses, and for them they go off and they have access to create whatever courses they want, and they put it in a development one, and then it has to go through a governance structure to turn it on live, basically.
Oh, okay.
So they can,
okay. Yeah, and I think that's a very viable option. I think that's a good idea for the type of the way that you're using it.
yeah, just a different idea.
Definitely. Let's see.
I'm signing off now.
Okay. I think I've addressed all the questions that are in the chat box, I believe. Are there other questions? All right. Well, if that's all, I appreciate everyone's time. It's been great to talk and share with you, and I look forward to connecting with you later.
That's great. Thanks so much, Nicole. Some great ideas there, and looks like you've once again inspired some people to go away and try some different things, try things differently. Yeah, so thank you very much for your time and effort there, and on behalf of everybody, thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see you when you next present. Thanks, everybody, and enjoy the rest of iMoot.